Welcome to aehelp.com's IELTS test preparation videos. I would like you to join me on my official Band 9 IELTS journey. I have decided to take the official IELTS exam so I can be empathetic with my students and improve my teaching. This series is divided into 4 parts. This part 1, is IELTS registration. After part 2 will be test preparation, part 3, sitting my official IELTS exam, and part 4, getting my official results with some feedback. Make sure to watch all 4 parts of this series to get tips and strategies so that you can maximize your scores. For many more videos, practice exams, visit and join our premium package at aehelp.com. Now watch and let's register for this IELTS exam. Hi everyone. So I'm going to sit the official computer-based Ielts Academic version exam in February, and I want you to be with me for my Band 9 Ielts journey. Now, of course, I have been studying and teaching IELTS for a number of years, and right at this moment, I am registering for my exam date through the computer. So the first step is for me to open up my browser. I'm using Google Chrome and go to ielts.org. That's IELTS.org. The third tab at the top is Book a Test. My next choice from the drop-down menu is Find a Test Location. And then it gives me a couple of different options. The first option is the IELTS exam, and then the second option is the IELTS for UK visa and IELTS life skills. Now, in my case, I'm going to go ahead and choose the IELTS, the International English Language Testing System. And so I'm going to go ahead and select that. It brings me a bit lower on the screen. And then here I have another menu where I can select Hungary. Currently I'm in Hungary and I'm planning to do the exam in Budapest. Of course, I have my Hungarian passport. I'm purposefully not using my Canadian passport because I don't want to give away that I'm a native speaker of the English language. And I have my payment card ready as well. So let's find a test location here in Hungary. It brings me to the next page where I can now select the city. And in the city, there are 2 cities in Hungary where I could choose to do the IELTS exam, Budapest, the capital, or Szeged, which is a bit south. It's the university town, so no surprise there. And I'm going to go ahead and choose Budapest. All right, now it tells me here that the exam is available at the British Council in Hungary. And here in brackets, it gives me a little red dot with a computer screen, and that means that the computer-based practice exam is also available in my area. So I'm going to go ahead and click Book Now. Okay, and this is where it tells me the paper-based or computer-based type test information, or gives me this choice. And also it lets me know what the test fee is. So in Hungarian forints, the test fee is 66,800 forints, which is roughly 250 US dollars, okay? Also, pay attention to this part here. This is the information for the local test center, so the telephone number, email, and then also a specific website. So I'm going to do a screenshot of this for later so I have that information. And now I'm clicking on Register for a Computer Delivered Test. That's my choice here. Okay, so here it says book a new test, and from the top, welcome to the IELTS registration site. There are 3 stages to booking your IELTS test. Number 1, check the availability and select your test date. That's very important. You should be booking your exam at least 2 to 3 weeks in advance. So right now, today, it's January the 27th, and I'm looking to book my Ielts exam for the last third of February. So February 20th on is my ideal date, around there. So my second step is to create an account with the British Council. That's where British Council will communicate all the necessary information. And then my third and final step is to book and pay. Of course, pay attention for those of you under the age of 18, you need a parent or guardian to book the test for you. Okay, so it says, please note, to continue with this booking, you will need an identification document. So that's what I'm using my Hungarian passport for. And you need to make sure you have a photocopy or a photo of the identification document at hand, as you will need to upload this as part of the booking process. I did that beforehand, so I used an application called Tiny Scanner for my phone to make a photocopy, a digital photocopy of my passport picture. And then of course my payment card, and I have my visa for that. Okay, now here is where I need to decide whether or not I want the academic or the general version of the exam. In my case, I will choose the academic, which is slightly more challenging. The academic is needed for university and sometimes for work purposes. The general training is usually needed for migration purposes and sometimes for work as well. So I'm going to go ahead and book the academic. Make sure that you make the right choice here because a mistake here could be very costly. So definitely be certain about the type of test that you need to take. If you're not sure, ask with the institution where you are applying. Okay, so I'm going to click book the Ielts academic. So here I've chosen Hungary, and now it's asking me if I have some special arrangements that I need for the test date. Okay, so I don't need any special arrangements, but this is where if you have mobility issues or if you have some kind of medical condition, this is where you can indicate that by clicking yes and then adding information and supporting documents. If you have some kind of learning disability, such as dyslexia or some form of speech impediment, definitely indicate that during this application process here. And remember that you will very likely need an official proof of your disability from a licensed physician or professional. Okay, in my case, I don't need any special arrangements for the test date, so I'm simply going to click on no. Now, then the next step, it's very nicely built, the website, so it's really step by step. It's asking me when I want to sit the Ielts exam, so I'm clicking February here, and now I just simply choose the location. The location, it's auto-filled because I've done that before, so Budapest. And I have to click the little plus button for this drop-down menu, and now there's one location in Budapest where I can do the Ielts exam. It's the British Council in Budapest, so I have to check that box. And here to the right, again, I can see that the computer-delivered exam is available as well as the paper-based exam. So now I'm going to search for the tests. Okay, so here in February, I can see that near the end of the month, on the 26th and 27th, there are opportunities for me to sit the exam. So I'm going to click on the 26th, and immediately it drops down further and gives me this computer-delivered Ielts. If I click on the 27th, it gives me the paper-based Ielts. Pay special attention here. Make sure that you're choosing the right one. So I'm going to click again the 26th, the computer-delivered Ielts exam. And underneath, you can see this little link, which format is right for me. I always tell students to choose the computer-based exam if and only if they can touch type. What that means is being able to type in English without looking at your hands. You have to be able to look at the screen while you're typing, and you have to have good typing speed. If you are not comfortable touch typing in English, I highly recommend choosing the paper-based exam instead. So here we go, test availability, 26th of February 2021, British Council, Budapest at the Modács Trade Center. Now I'm going to click on this plus button here, and I now have to choose my test start time. It's giving me the address, so I'm going to take note of that as well, okay? So here I'm going to do another screenshot. It's good to take these screenshots and create a folder or file where you start to collect this information so that you can reference it as you need it. So the test start time for this day, there is only one. It's at 1:45, so 13:45, which is early afternoon. That's a good time. The brain is still quite fresh and I will be full of energy, so I'm going to choose that. So let's choose this test. Okay, so here I have some more information. It's a really good idea to read through every bit of information that you see during the registration process. There are lots of details that could be valuable and can really save you a lot of headache and trouble. So Ielts Academic, if you want to study at undergraduate or postgraduate level or join a professional organization in an English-speaking country territory, then you should take this test. The test fee is 66,800 forints. Here is the information about the test date. The listening, reading, and writing arrival time is 1:15, and the test starts at 1:45. So there's about 30 minutes to get yourself ready before the exam starts. Now the test is going to end at 4:30. So it's quite a lengthy exam. Make sure that you get good rest and that you're really full of energy. This date is not confirmed until you complete the booking, so make sure that you complete the booking. Okay, so I have my test location, and now I'm going to choose the speaking test. The speaking interview is on a separate time or at a separate time and sometimes on a separate day from the actual listening, reading, and writing part. So now I'm going to choose my speaking test. So again, listening, reading, and writing is on February 26th. You have to pay attention here. Your speaking test may be held in a different venue, that means even a different location, from the listening, reading, and writing test. You must arrive to the venue at least 30 minutes before the speaking test starts. I recommend arriving even an hour before your speaking exam so you can get really comfortable, practice, speak English to other students who are there. So here now I can choose a date for my speaking exam, and again it's giving me Friday the 26th, so I'm going to go ahead and choose that date. It's my only option, so here my speaking will be on the same day. Now for the time, so I have a 9 o'clock time in the morning, I have a 9:40, and I have a 10:20 time. I'm going to go ahead and choose the 10:20 time. The reason being is that according to many studies, our brain tends to function at its highest or its peak level between 10 and 11 o'clock. This is why many businesses like to hold meetings at 10 in the morning. Your mind is awake, it's focused, and it's not yet tired from a lot of work. So 10:20 is a good choice. Okay, underneath it, whilst every attempt is made to ensure that we honor your venue, date, and time slot selection, we reserve the right to modify, discontinue, and replace your selected preference. Of course, Ielts will notify you via email if they change any of this information or the location or the time, so pay attention. Especially during the pandemic, there have been a lot of changes, so don't be upset. Just go with the flow and keep practicing. Okay, so now it's asking me, are you ready to book? Do you have an account with us? Before you can book a test, you need to create an account with us. With an account, book and pay securely, save and edit your details, book new tests quickly. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and create my account. Okay, so before you can book a test, you need to create an account. Now, this is very important in this pink box. It says, please note the full name and date of birth must match the identification document presented at the test location. So in my case, I have to have the exact same information that is in my Hungarian passport, which interestingly is a little bit different than my Canadian passport, because in my Hungarian passport I use my middle name, but in my Canadian one I don't. So here I have to make sure to include my middle name as well. All right, here we go. And I'm even going to make sure that I include the accents of my Hungarian name, which again I don't use in my Canadian passport. So for my date of birth, I'm simply going to type instead of scroll. It's a little bit faster for the years as well. Okay. My email, I definitely have to make sure that's correct, especially when I confirm it as well. So I have to pay special attention to making sure that my email address is correct. And even though it's asking me to confirm it, I will still double check to make sure I haven't made an accidental typo twice. That can happen. So it's better to check here and be absolutely sure. Okay, and then I'm going to create a password. So now it's asking me about my marketing preferences, and I'm going to click on the second box, which allows British Council to send me information, as well as some third parties connected to British Council, which might provide me with some valuable information as well. If I don't find them useful, or once I'm done with the Ielts exam, I can always get rid of these in my inbox later. But for now, I want to get as much information as possible. Of course, I have to agree with the terms and conditions, otherwise I cannot sit the exam. It may be a good idea to read through these. I'm going to click agree to the account registration and register. Google is asking me whether or not I'd like to save this password. I'm going to save it for sake of ease in the future. And then I'm going to log in and continue. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and complete the booking. Now I have a timer here, so I have to make sure that I complete the booking before it reaches 0. Otherwise, I'll have to start the process again. And I've got 11 minutes left, so let's do this. Okay, I'm going to double check the information. Ielts Academic, listening, reading, and writing will be February 26th. My arrival time is 13:15 and the test will end at 16:30. It's at the Modács Trade Center. Okay, the speaking will be on the same day in the morning at 10:20. Again, at the Modács Trade Center, my test fee is 66,800 forints. Okay, so I have all of the documents I need to continue, so let's do this. Now, make sure to read all of the information here. I'm not going to do that, but make sure that you do, just in case there is anything there that might be a barrier for you to take the exam, okay? Especially pay attention if you're not a resident of the country where you're taking the exam. Here we go. Who am I booking the test for? I'm booking the test for myself. I'm over the age of 18. My name, it's correct. It's exactly the same as on my passport with accents. My date of birth and email are correct. My country of residence, where I'm living, I'm going to choose Hungary for that. Next, I'm going to complete my physical address for my location, city where I live, Budapest, postal code, and my mobile number. So now I'm going to add my ID. And my ID type is going to be my passport. My passport number exactly as it is in my passport. Expiration day of my passport. Passport issuing authority, country, territory. Okay, now it's asking me a few demographic questions I have to fill out. So I am a male candidate. My title is Mr. My nationality, I'm going to use my Hungarian here. My first language, I'm going to say, is Hungarian. How many years have I been studying English? Let's say 9 or more. What level of education have I completed? I'm going to choose degree. and then give some additional. Now it's telling me that some fields are missing, so I have to go back and check what I missed. What is my country? Again, drop-down menu. What's my my occupation sector? Education. What is my occupation type? Let's say self-employed. And your interests in Ielts. Why am I taking the test? All of these are drop-down menus. Other educational purposes. Which country do I want to work or study? Let's say Canada. And then let's keep going. Okay, so I can choose up to 5 institutions where they can send my official results. I'm not going to choose any at this moment. I will choose these organizations later. You can choose them now. I recommend choosing them later, especially since you have this timer that's going and you need to complete your registration. So I'm going to review my application. My booking is not yet completed. Again, I need to look through all of this information, make sure that it's accurate. I accept the terms and conditions, and then I move on to payment. And now I'm going to pay online with Visa. I'm going to pay by card. Okay, payment is successful, and I just made it with a couple of minutes to go, so the registration should have gone through. Here I have a booking acknowledgement, and now before I exit, it's very important that I have to upload the ID that I used, which is my passport ID. Again, it's a good idea to take screenshots throughout the process. Make sure that you keep a record so that in case you have to contact Ielts, you have all of the information handy. All right, so I'm going to upload my document, and I'm going to click here, upload identification proof. Okay, so now I'm going to choose my file to upload, my photocopy or picture in this case of my passport. And I have to make sure that it's smaller than 3 megabytes so that the system will accept it. And of course, I must make sure that it's legible. They can read the information clearly. As well, you'll see that I titled my identification with today's date and the name that appears in my passport and the type of identification. This will help them to identify my document quickly and match it with my registration information. All of my information is now uploaded and available. I am going to print this page for my own records. Currently, my proof of identification is still waiting approval. If there is anything that's not the way it should be, they will contact me and let me know. And then, of course, I will have a chance to send them another proof of identification. And in that case, I will make sure to adjust the way that they require. So I'm going to print this final page and put it up on my wall just as a daily reminder to study and prepare for the exam. Also, it's good to have at least one paper printout of this confirmation. Now here at the top, I have my account, and I also have your tests and results tab at the top. So once I'm done the exam, I will be able to log in here and I will be able to check my tests and results. So again, the account that I just created wasn't just for registration, but it was also for a later date to view my results and my performance. And of course, I have my account information as well. So now it's time for me to keep studying, stick to my study plan, and get ready to make sure that I get that nice high Band 9 result in all 4 sections of my Ielts test. I'll see you again once we're closer to the test date. I hope you have gained some valuable information on how to register online for your next Ielts test. The next part of this series will be preparing for my exam. Good luck on your next Ielts test. Did you enjoy this episode of my Band 9 IELTS journey? To see the next episode right now, make sure to visit and join our premium package at aehelp.com. Subscribe to our channel. Click over here. Watch another video. Click right up here. And click our IELTS Hero to join our premium package and get access to all of our videos, practice exams, and a fully interactive course.